Crypto gaming is about to go ballistic, and in this video I want to show you which are my favorite picks and what potential entries you could have in some of the best tokens that I believe will have great returns this bull market. Let's start with a few big boys. And when I see big boys, I say, first of all, this is because they have big market caps, but also because they're very important. They are not games specific tokens for a game, but they're more like infrastructure plays. And there are a few here that I really like. I'm gonna start with Ronin because this is the OG. I don't have any Ronin, honestly, but I'll tell you why a little bit later. Ronin is basically an L1. That is the L1 for what was the name? Or Axie Infinity. Yes, Axie Infinity was the game that made huge gains last cycle. So this is their L1, and as you can see, it's been out for a while. So if we go back in time, no, this launched in January of 2022. But as you can see also, it's been showing quite a bit of strength. You know, we had this type of huge range here. We broke out. We made crazy gains. This is actually a huge run up here, like a 10x in just a few months. And then we dropped. However, if we pull the fib retracement tool, you can see that we're right around the sweet spot at this time. So 786 to 618, this is really the best spot for a retracement. And honestly, after such an explosive move, it's very typical to see this for price to recharge. And it's great that it didn't do a full retrace. And now we're actually showing signs of strength just above this reaccumulation zone right here. And if we jump on the daily, you'll see that after the flush we had last week, you could see that this has held as support right now. So this is $1.8, and now it's looking very strong for a potential secondary breakout. Now, if you want to trade this breakout, or you don't know how to trade breakouts in general, I do have a video on my channel, so go on and check it. But I'm not gonna tell you exactly how to trade it, but I would tell you what if I was looking to get into Ronin, how would I approach this? First of all, this is a good token in order in all of gaming. I mean, it's just well recognizable and so on. And this, I think, would be one of the best entries here on this potential breakout around $2.3, I would say. The risk to reward is not great because technically, maybe even if we start closing back in this range, I think that's quite bearish. But again, if you're targeting all-time high and even higher, might not be the worst trade. But there are trades that honestly I like better. So let me just show you this. So here it's like 2.5 R to the all-time high. But if this starts to accelerate, I think we're going way past the all-time high. So I think this is a very good entry. And honestly, I don't want us to go below this level, as I said, like 1.8, but in the next few weeks, months, maybe we'll consolidate a little bit here. And if this happens, and if you really like this token, I think it might also be good to enter even closer to your invalidation, somewhere around here, 1.8. I personally won't be trading this one, but I think there are a lot of people that look at it, and it's trading on very many major exchanges, so I think it's not a terrible pick. What I personally have is Super. Super is another of those gaming infrastructure tokens, and this one is pushed by Elio, one of the biggest influencers in the space of crypto and specifically in gaming. And he's a good friend of Alex Becker. He's also shilling this token all the time. And as you can see, this one has been around for a while. I generally avoid such kind of tokens. They're have a lot of price history, a lot of back holders. However, this has been extremely strong, back from here. And as you can see, literally the same pattern or almost the same pattern as Ronin. However, the accumulation here took almost no time, and now we're currently just pushing much higher. So in this case, Ronin is a bit of a laggard, and that's why I started with it, because if you have missed entries on these things, there might be laggards like Ronin that you could still catch earlier in the trend. So I guess if this is to happen to Ronin, it's somewhere around here right now. So somewhere in this area. But I do like Super. I got in relatively late, I would say. So if you go into the daily, I'll show you my entries. So I started accumulating in this area around here, so 1.3 bucks. And my general thesis is that this will be one of the biggest winner. It's showed by the right people, and it's just accumulating with very nice cutoff point here, and a potential breakout that is just happening. And as you can see, again, very strong bounce from the last sell-off that we had. What is a little bit concerning is the weekly. It's starting to get a little bit overextended, but this, as you can see from here, could continue for months and even sometimes for an entire year if we're like to have a massive bull market. So I wouldn't be surprised if this just continues pushing. I like it. It's not a huge allocation for me, but overall, like in my portfolio, gaming is probably second or third. I don't remember. I have an entire video on my portfolio, so you can go watch it with the tokens I have and the overall diversification and percentages I have from my portfolio. But this is starting to grow, and I like to see it, and I like the relative strength that I'm seeing compared to other tokens in the space. Another big one is Beam. I don't have Beam, but again, it looks very, very good and very strong on the price action. So this is their all-time high. They have prior history, but it's from a different token. So if somebody new comes into the space, they won't be seeing it because it's it's a different ticker and so on. So I think this was a good trick on their side, and that's why I really like this token. Although I was thinking which one should I pick. I didn't want to pick all the gaming tokens because then I have to manage all of them, and I believe these will move in sync. And Super chart was looking stronger, and today it's actually quite outperforming. As you can see, it's down 7% on the day. Super is up 6%. Again, this could flip back and forth for a long time, but Beam broke out of this area. Again, very typical, had a push of strength, then consolidated. But now, if you're looking for an entry, I would wait a bit on this one. First of all, look at the weekly. Weekly has been ripping for months already. Volume has been picking up, at least on this exchange. And now, ideally, what you want to see is something what Super did. So maybe we consolidate somewhere around here just before an all-time high breakout, or I would say even wait a bit to get to the all-time high, have a little bit more price action here, and aim for a breakout here. So yes, you would technically be buying it higher, but I think that just the risk to reward is better, because otherwise you need to go to the 4 hour or something and let's say, okay, we retrace a little bit here, and maybe you put your stop here. But honestly, I just don't like this entry. I wouldn't be taking this trade if it was me. I'll wait for price to cool off, recharge, or give us a little bit more price history here, or closer to the all-time high, and then make up this mind, because for me this is starting to look quite a bit parabolic as of today. So yeah, there was a better entry. I was pretty much deciding somewhere around this area if I pick Super or this one. Both are moving almost the same percentages from there. So again, I think they're both good picks. It just needs to be in the right moment. And for Super, hard to find an entry right here. Again, this doesn't look that parabolic, at least on the weekly. We had a bit of consolidation here, but again, trend is accelerating. You can see this, this week's price action is just crazy, very strong. So yeah, let's see what happens here. Even if they cool off a bit, I think that wouldn't be terrible, especially if this lines up now with the Christmas holidays, New Year's. I think we'll have a couple of weeks of boring price action, which will again give us better entry. So the name of the game is to be a little bit more patient. However, there are some other tokens that I think are at good points to enter. One of them is Prime. I do have Prime. I bought it somewhere around the 8s, somewhere around here. I don't remember. So deep in profit right now. But again, this is a newer token. I think I even have a video on the channel, so you can go watch a little bit more fundamentals. That was a while back, so things have changed. I honestly haven't dove deep into their fundamentals right now, but I think it's a good token overall. They have a working game, they have a product in place, and most importantly for me at least, they're in the right narrative. They have a cool name, and they're listed on Binance and at a reasonable valuation right now. So they're not cheap, definitely. It's not a low cap, but I think the risk to reward overall for this performing well is quite good, especially with the entries that I got. Because, again, very typical pattern, accumulation breakout, and now we're looking for continuation. So on the weekly, again, this looks like most other tokens, starting to look like a little bit, too much. But I think this would just line up very well with the holidays and will probably recharge. But the most important thing is that last week, although we had a sell-off, and even this week that you're seeing, we had a sell-off, but we are closing the weeks above this key level. I think this is a key level right here. In general, this zone here. And if this week closes, today is like Thursday, so if this week again closes up here, and maybe then we consolidate, I think that would be great. So an area of consolidation above this, that would be amazing, because then what you have is a very good point to cut off the trade. So if we start breaking below here, I think you can safely cut out of the trade. And if you really want to have some prime because you believe we won't get a pullback and so on, I think there's a breakout to be had right here. This is quite a bit more risky in my opinion right now. And potentially it won't give you the gains you want that fast, but still it's aiming for a breakout. And like, even if I just hide all the drawings, you could see this just trading very nicely. So we had the initial breakout around $10, then a little bit of consolidation, then again around $12, another breakout, then again we had a retrace, retested this area, another breakout here, but it seems like it's losing a little bit of strength here. So even if we have another breakout, which I'm not necessarily betting on, I think it could be a little bit weaker just because of the time of the year we are right now. But overall, long term, I think this is a good pick. And again, if you see a little bit more consolidation here and closer to the cutoff point, I think it's still a good buy. I'm not adding right now to it, and I'm not planning to add just because I can ride my entries in comfort. But this, if I didn't have a position, I think this should be one of the better tokens. Again, not financial advice and so on, but I think from all the others, I think this is one of the best risk to reward in the business. Another one that I have and I quite like is Carrot, and I think this is still not kind of started its trend. This is a smaller cap, however, it's listed on Coinbase. This is from people that made the My Pet Hooligan NFT collection, and honestly, anyone that survived the NFT bear market on Ethereum and actually produced something great like the game that they have is this, like, it deserves my respect, and I want to put money in this token because I think they have a great chance to do very well. Just the tenacity and the quality of the product, I think it's very, very good. And as you can see, it was looking a bit shaky here, honestly, because we had a big push, then a massive sell-off, and you can see the wicks here just because this is not trading a lot of volume, and you can see the price action is quite ugly. Even here, a lot of breakouts, fake outs, upside, downside. It's just not pretty. However, now we're establishing very clean range here, higher, and this is looking like it's starting to build momentum, and I mean serious momentum. Obviously, you could just lose your money like in every token, but I really like this play and this chart specifically, how it's developing. My entry is around 50 cents, so I'm still in profit, but not that much. It's not far away from my entry, and I believe that again we could just chop around this range for quite some time, for at least a few weeks until next year, and that could present great opportunity for accumulation, or maybe we get another retest here. And also, again, if it retests here from my entry, I have a good stop loss here if we start closing below this range. So I think this is the one to watch also together with Prime. And as you can see, even on the weekly, it's starting to coil up. So maybe we'll keep something like this and squeeze into the resistance a little bit longer, because technically on the weekly, this is a fake out. This range got tested a few times, tried to break it, we didn't, now we're back into it. However, in a bull market, we technically already tested the low. So after the breakdown, it's expected to test the lows, and now we're confirming this as resistance. But more and more times this gets tested. I think in a bull market, the higher probability that this will break up to the upside, not to the downside. So yeah, Carrot, very, very good one. One similar token that I don't have is Big Time. Big Time is a game. It's actually quite good. Again, it's listed on Coinbase. It just, the price action is a bit like weirder. It had a sell-off. It's weaker overall. And in order to compare, you can always do like Big Time and then Carrot USD, for example. And you can compare this on TradingView and see which one is doing better. So pretty much they've been moving in sync for the past, what is this? Few months already. So not specifically great outperformance from Carrot or Big Time, one or the other, but just longer term, the way I'm looking at the Big Time chart separately, I just like it better. Although now that I'm just looking at this chart, this is a ratio, I wouldn't be trading it. But it looks like Big Time is squeezing Carrot. So this means that Big Time could be aiming for a breakout and outperformance versus Carrot, and maybe this could be a better play. However, I wouldn't be rotating in and out because I think they'll all do well. And this ratio could easily do, something like this. And you'll still be making money or losing money if they go up and down, but they wouldn't be like moving in such a big difference that it makes sense to buy one or the other more and just FOMO into both or whatever. That pretty much, if we look at Super versus Beam, we would see something similar, I guess. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so in this case, Super has been outperforming Beam from August of last year. However, you can see here that a Beam had a moment of outperformance here in the last month or so, and now Super is gaining in the last few weeks, is gaining a little bit more on Beam. But overall, like if you ignore like the volatility, it's in the same range since September, October. So yeah, just something to consider. But going back to Big Time real quick, again, I think this is not at a terrible place. It's been accumulating. It's been testing this level quite a few times on the daily and the weekly, also quite clean. And it hasn't really started its run up. So I believe Big Time is also one of the contenders. And even right now, honestly, this is not a terrible trade and not a terrible entry, because we retested this level and this breaker here. And so I think this presents a very good place to cut out if it's not working in your favor. So yeah, something like this, and you could target probably this area first and then higher, and obviously from then on you can do whatever you want. You can keep some for infinity. So Big Time, another, I think, great token. Another one that I like is AI. I traded this a little bit here. AI is like a companion, an AI companion that you can play with or chat with, and gives you, I don't know, friendships and stuff. It's weird. It's very popular in Asia because people are super busy. But the ticker, first of all, is the best ticker in business, AI. And second of all, the chart is starting to look good. This is primarily a Binance coin and relatively low cap. I don't like the fact that it's sold off so hard and still hasn't recovered. But in a longer term trend, and I think this could do well. But even here, you could see that again, key level out of accumulation. We retested it, and now we're pushing forward. I think in general this could underperform, and that's why I don't have a back, just because of the previous price action. And I'm just a little bit skeptical because it's not pure gaming. It's not like a game on the phone that you can start clicking buttons and play. It's a little bit more like of a AI/gaming play, which could also be great because it includes the AI narrative. But I don't know. Not many people are talking about it, honestly. So I'm just, a little bit skeptical it will overall outperform a lot of things. Another one that is more recent that I found recently by, I think, House of Crypto was talking about this token. You can go and check him on YouTube. He's really cool. So this token is called My Lovely Planet. They have a pretty cool concept. It's a mobile game, so mobile games usually do well. It had a massive push. Could have been because of his video, because this one is very low cap token, and it's not listed in many exchanges, so just keep this in mind. But now it's starting to reshape another pattern, and as long as it doesn't lose this level, like 30-40 cents ish, I think this could be a very good token to own, because after such a massive candle, this was 100% the first day, and at some point this was another 100 or so percent the second day, so this was 160%. So two massive candles in a row, and yet we haven't like sold off really. This is expected because it's a low cap token, but as long as it holds this level, I think that's very bullish. And if you started consolidating here for a few weeks and again pushing back into next year, I think that's a strong buy. I don't have any, but I'm keeping this closely on watch to see what's going to happen. The last couple that I currently have, so I have Super Prime, Carrot, Neon is my lower cap pick. This is a game. It's actually I don't know how this happened, but it's a super popular game on Twitter. It's got very good graphics. It's very similar, like in the feel, to Off the Grid, which is considered to be one of the biggest games that we're all waiting for. I'm personally also waiting for them to launch and see how the token will perform, but the valuation there will probably be crazy. But this one looks very good, looks similar. It's super low cap. It's like fully diluted, I think 100 mil. Now like unlocked supply is 20 mil or something. I don't remember the exact numbers, but you could see what happened. So I traded this. Actually, I was accumulating this down here, and when I started seeing it that it pushes, I was like, okay, I want to have more. Now I have a good size back, and I'm up like 70-80% here. But honestly, even here, I don't think it's a terrible buy, because again, very similar. We retested this level, confirmed it as support now, flipped it. And now even here, if you come back and retest it down to this wick, it's just 15% from right here. So I don't mind this entry. I'm not buying it just because I have much better entry. But if you don't have any and you like this and you like the gaming narrative, somewhere in this area with a close cutoff point to protect your downside, I think it's very reasonable. And another benefit of this, and the next one I'm going to talk about, is that Alex Becker usually mentions this token in his videos, and sometimes, I don't know if you watched his AI video. I didn't, but I knew it was out by the price action on his tokens that he mentions all the time. They flew right after the video, and I wouldn't be surprised if this happens to this token. If he does a video, and he's due for a gaming video because he did one for AI, and gaming is his biggest narrative after AI. So yeah, this one is looking quite good and also quite like calm right now. It's not overextended. It's just consolidating, and potentially again, if it consolidates a bit longer, I would even love it more, just because I don't want it to get overextended that early, because it just gives me a lot more stress. Another one that I took as a trade recently, just purely on speculation because of the Alex Becker thing, is Crown. This is not exactly gaming. This is more like gambling. They have horses racing and so on. But the chart, just clean on the chart, breakout of accumulation, very good accumulation here that we have long. This is how I love to play those accumulations. And then I took a breakout here, or a retest, I don't remember, around 60 cents. And I was like, okay, if this breaks back into the range, I'll cut it. And if we see the catalyst of Becker talking and shilling it, I think this could do multiples real quick, because it's not on many exchanges. It's not easy to find it. However, it's on Solana, same as Neon actually. This is why another reason why I love those two, because Solana is another narrative that it's quite major. And the bad part of the story is that we had a sell-off right after I bought. I didn't cut this. And I didn't also add here on this dip. So now I'm holding. I want to see what happens here if we're going to break this level. But technically the catalyst still hasn't played out. So there hasn't been a video. And this is more of a trade for me. I'm not looking to long-term hold this. But if this happens and if it pumps, I'll probably just exit. And if it fails here, I would just also, again, exit. And then if the catalyst happens, he does the video, whatever, fine. I think it's important in a bull market to protect also the downside, not only, the upside. But it's a hard thing to manage because, as you can see, like, you could have these volatile swings in both directions. And sometimes, you could get chopped up to pieces. And that's what I'm trying not to do. So I waited for the bounce, and I want to see what happens here at this resistance now. Around 60 cents or so. So yeah, this is another one that I have right now, but as I said, just for a trade. There are quite a few other tokens in the space that many people are big on. Like IMX is one of the biggest. I don't like IMX just because of the price action. Yes, in a bull market, if we get like crazy stuff happening, you could argue that this entire thing will be an accumulation and then we'll just go ballistic. But even right now, this is one of the highest valued tokens in the space. It's been lagging right now, and it's just, it's too big for me to produce the multiples that I'm interested in. If we ignore all of this, IMX just has a very similar chart to some of the others that we talked, but it's again lagging. It's more like running in this case. So if you don't have a gaming exposure, this could be a nice one to start because, again, good exchange diversification. They've been through the bear market. They've been building. It's an L2, and so on. So there are plenty of things going for it. I just personally don't like it. So again, holding this level is key. We reclaim it. If we come and retest it, I think this could be a nice little trade as well. Another few that I was looking into is Vanry. This is, God, I was looking at this here. And I didn't buy the breakout because I was like, what the fuck is this token? Nobody talks about it. So I didn't take the breakout purely on the technical setup. However, this is an L1. It's claimed to be like super fast. It's more like focused towards gaming. So it falls kind of in the narrative. It's a lower cap. It's on major exchanges, and the price action is starting to look decent. It's not my first pick, so I'm just a little bit cautious of what I pick because I have a checklist, and honestly, if you want, I can do a video about the checklist. But I need a token to fit into certain criteria, and if it doesn't for more or a few of the criteria I have, I just try to stay away because otherwise you'll get crazy. There's just so many tokens. And a few others that I've watched through time is Playable. They're thicker. Again, it was strong, but now it's lagging. This could potentially, again, start catching fire. It doesn't look that terrible. We wanted to hold this level, and I would honestly wait for strength here because it's just a little bit, exchange diversification is not great, and it's, I was doing the numbers on this one. I didn't like the team and so on and how they are doing the tokenomics. So, just something to keep in mind. But if you see strength here in a bull market, I think if this is lagging by then, other tokens are pumping and this is not, maybe it will be a good rotation play. So get back into this, have a quick 2 or 3x potentially, get out of it. Same with, where was it? Nakamoto Games. Very similar chart, as you can see. Again, we need this level to hold and maybe consolidate in order to see some continuation. And GFO was another one. These are kind of infrastructure plays, all those three. GFO is the weakest right now, so I wouldn't be buying it, but just putting it on your radar if the picks I gave you already are not enough. But yeah, plenty of tokens to look into the space. But these are my favorites, and as always, if you enjoyed those videos, let me know. I will be doing a lot more of similar videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.